The troubles of a massive state-backed Chinese asset manager are roiling the global dollar bond market. Huarong Asset Management, which was established decades ago to help China sort out stacks of duff loans its commercial banks had accumulated, has been struggling financially since 2018, when its chairman Lai Xiaomin was put under a disciplinary probe. Lai was executed for corruption in January, and now the company is widely expected to be restructured. The question is, what will Beijing do with all the offshore debt that Huarong has accumulated? Other Chinese companies have defaulted and gone bankrupt before, that's not too surprising these days. But Huarong's pedigree makes it quite special. It's half owned by the Ministry of Finance, and its financial backers include some of the biggest Western financial institutions, CalPERS, Warburg Pincus, you name it, it's a long list. So when it failed to produce its annual report in March, and Beijing made no particular supportive statement, prices for the $21 billion of dollar bonds Huarong has outstanding fell. Eventually, they took the rest of the market for Chinese-issued dollar bonds with them. Investors holding debt issued by private Chinese issuers know where they stand pretty much more or less. But Huarong is no private company. It is, or at least it was, a key piece of regulatory infrastructure. Its bonds offered relatively high yields, and they had the implicit suggestion of state backing, so they were highly popular with overseas traders. If Beijing decides to let Huarong default, it throws its support for other state-backed borrowers, other asset managers, policy banks, and so on, into question. Perhaps realizing this, officials have stepped in with some rather lukewarm statements of support for Huarong. They've noted that it's operating normally and it has adequate liquidity, as they say. That's sort of reassuring, and it's produced a mini bond rally, but it's nowhere near back to normal. And this is not a bailout yet. Whether you own Huarong bonds or not, investors are watching very carefully what Beijing does next.